Hi everyone, welcome to Simple Healthy Living, the live teaching that I do every Thursday. We're a little bit earlier today because I had a change in my schedule. So I hope maybe some of you can join live that normally can't. And today we're going to continue the conversation about lower back pain. I had so many of you posted here and sent me emails that the low back session that I did last week was really helpful. So we're going to do some more poses today, but I want to start out by saying that it's not all structural, right? So not everyone agrees with this, but there are so many factors that go into our low back pain. They can be physical, they can be emotional, they can be even bigger than that. And just a lot of it is stress related. So I can show you poses, but if you're not sleeping well and you're not eating well, which means not only not eating the right foods, but also eating at the right times, for example, all those things can contribute to joint pain because, as Ayurveda teaches us, there's this waste that accumulates in the body, especially in the joints. And when that waste accumulates in the body, it can create pain. So sometimes we want like a simple answer, and I am all for alternative modalities, and I shouldn't even say alternative, modalities like chiropractic and Ayurveda, and acupuncture was what I meant to say, obviously Ayurveda, and and any kind of massage, because those can, hi Paris, there are always things that you can do in addition to that. And the hands-on that you receive from somebody else can be life-changing. So if that's working for you, that's awesome. But I think it's really helpful to have some tools in your tool belt and some poses that you can do when you are in pain, but also that the body is giving you a message. That the body is giving you a message when you're having some pain, and that's about your whole lifestyle in general. So without further ado, I'm going to come and I'm going to invite you to get a strap. Now, if you don't have a yoga strap like this, let's give me 1 second. How do I do this? I'm back. So you're going to come, if you don't have a strap, you're going to use a towel, or you can also use a regular belt, or even a small towel will help. And this is just a great way to realign the back. Last week I talked about finding the natural curve in your lower back, which is really important. And before we do this next sequence, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. So I'm coming onto my back here. And I'm keeping my knees bent because I want to show you guys the difference. When I'm rounding my low back, the whole spine is on the floor and the front of my seat actually lifts up. And this is a misalignment. This is what happens when we're sleeping. It happens when we're rounded, when we're sitting rather. It happens when we're sitting and we're rounded here. So we want to try to find the natural curve. So I'm going to use my hands and press my thighs away. And as I do that, there's a little space in the low back here. Now, I don't want to overarch so that my ribs are swaying. That really feels uncomfortable to me. It's a little more subtle than that. But these kind of subtle awarenesses are really what can help us so much, because we can start to identify, wow, if I flatten my low back, I feel a strain there. If I have a little bit more space by moving my thighs away, I have some relief. So as we do this next sequence, I want you to be aware of that space in the low back. So we're going to keep the left knee bent and the left foot on the floor, and I'm looping my strap around the ball of the foot. Okay, and I can't see the comments now, so I'm lying down. So if you have questions, just hang tight. I'll answer them at the end. And so you can see how active my foot is here. It's not asleep. I'm pulling all 4 corners of my foot back. And this leg is straight. Now, if I pull a foot too close to me, I flatten the curve in the low back like I showed you earlier. So I'm actually going to move the leg and the thigh away from me. All right, so that I have this nice natural curve in the low back here. And the energy from my foot and down into that hip is creating stability and rooting. And it's a joint, the low back, the sacroiliac joint. It's where the spine and the pelvis meet. So that can actually go out of alignment. And this pose right here can actually help to stabilize the SI joint. So I'm going to keep this left knee bent. I'm taking the strap into my right hand, and I'm only taking this leg out to the side a little bit. You can see I'm using my elbow like a little kickstand here as I hold the strap. And again, I don't want to bring the foot too close to my face. That's going to round the low back. So I'm moving it away. I'm moving it away so I can keep the natural curve in the low back. And then I'm going to move the foot out a little bit more. This might be enough for you and you're going to feel like your whole pelvis is off center. It's more important that you keep the natural curve in the low back here. And take a few deep breaths. And then I'm going to inhale back to center. And I'm going to slowly release that foot. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. But first, you're going to take your hands again at the tops of your thighs, and you're going to press away. And you can feel that creates this little space in the low back. Now, if I keep doing that, it's going to be too big a space, and I've arched my back too much. So it's a little bit more subtle than this. If this is new for you, know that this greater perception of your connection with your body is so valuable. What better way to know ourselves better than through the structure of our body and noticing these pains and aches that we have? Like, what's the source of them? And instead of relying on the wonderful help of others all the time when we get treatments, to also know that there are things that we can do for ourselves. So I'm going to keep that curve in the low back as I lift the left foot up. And if you're in pain right now, don't draw your knee so close. And you can do this kind of a thing. You can throw the strap over and catch it that way. Okay? And if you're feeling discomfort, move the foot away from you even farther. When I've had lower back discomfort, this really, really helps. But activating the foot is paramount so that you're stabilizing the joint of the knee and of the hip. And as you're here, attune to your breathing. Only bringing the foot as close to your face as you can maintain that natural curve in the low back. Place both sides of the strap into your left hand and extend that left leg out to its own side. I have the wall here, so I can't go too far, but it's good so I can feel both sides of my low back on the floor here. If I take the leg too far out to the side, the hips go off center, and we really want to keep that symmetrical rooting of the low back on the mat. I still have that little space as well. I'm not flattening. And then I'm going to inhale back to center. Take another couple breaths. And slowly release. And bend both knees. Just notice the effects of that. And for the next one, we're still going to honor that natural curve. You'll take your right ankle in front of the left thigh. So we're in a figure 4 here. And again, find that space in the low back, between the low back and the mat. There's a little space. And we're not going to even lift that bottom foot here. It's going to be more subtle than that. You'll take your right hand to the right thigh, very close to the hip, and gently press it away. So a lot of lower back tension is actually from the hips. And slowly release. Notice I'm moving really mindfully. If you're experiencing some lower back tension, this movement slowly is only going to serve you. Left ankle in front, left hand right where the thigh and the hip meet. You don't want to press on your knee, gently moving the thigh bone away from your face. That will create a little more space in the low back. And slowly release. Now, as we lift both feet up, instead of drawing the knees in towards the chest, I'm actually going to be pushing my knees away from me. So I'm lifting my knees up, I'm holding the knees themselves, and I'm moving the knees and the thighs away from me. So rather than pulling the knees in, which flattens the low back, this moves the thigh bones down into the hip sockets, which is really healing for the lower back. You can let your knees fall apart a little bit more. My heels are heavy, and I'm not pulling the knees in towards the chest. This is that's a different pose, really. Again, focusing on your breath, listening to the messages that your body is sending you. If we don't listen when there are smaller whispers, then the body will start yelling at us until it finally gets our attention. So thinking about what that pain, what that discomfort that you're feeling, whatever part of your body you're feeling it in, there's often a much deeper message. Okay, to come out of it, you're going to draw your knees together. Let your feet come down onto the floor. Now, even this transition to sitting up is honoring that curve in the low back. So come on to lie on your side. And as I come up, I don't want to round my spine. So I'm going to take my hands in front of my chest, keeping the lower body really heavy. And come on up. When you're sitting up on something is also going to be more supportive of the low back. So I've got my little cushion here. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if it is, how your lower back is doing, if that's something that you've been dealing with. I want to make a couple of announcements to let you know what's happening. There are only a few spots left in my Costa Rica retreat in January, and that is a time for us to connect for a full week of yoga and wellness. This will help you to go home sleeping better, having more energy, reducing your joint pain, and just feeling great and feeling like yourself again. So please message me here or at marjorienass@gmail.com. Many of the participants are returning for the second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth year. People love it as their touchstone for the year. So that's coming up in January 19th to 26th. And this fall I'm doing something different. I have a 3-month program, Pain Free and Energized, that is going to be coming up. And it's by invitation only. And you are invited to apply to have a session where we'll jump on the phone together and see if it's the right program for you. So I will post the link below to have a session with me, and we'll figure out if that's right for you. That starts in September, but for anyone who enrolls now, there are bonus sessions every month, which are quite a big value. So if you have any questions about that, please message me or post here. And I'll be doing some local Pain Free and Energized workshops here in San Diego, so stay tuned for those dates. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon or evening, and I will see you next week.